That's a white black man. Are you a white black man?
Wait, what?
Are you a white black man?
Wait, you're
A white black man.
No, I'm a black man.
No, you're the first white black man.
What do you mean the first one?
You're a white black man.
No, I'm a black man.
No, I know a nigga when I see a nigga.
Come on, man.
Oh, you might be black. Okay, he black. My bad.
I am half black. My biological father is African American. I'm gonna break it down for you because I know what you're thinking. This girl is insane. There's no way. She has green eyes, very light skin, and blonde hair. Like, there's no way. Growing up as a kid, I always got, "That's your stepdad, you must be adopted." This video is honestly for educational purposes, to just let you know, like, people can look like me and be mixed. So let me break it down and show you my parents. Alrighty, here is me and my dad. This is my dad. His name is Lance. Here's another photo. It's kind of blurry, but yes, he raised me my entire life from when I came out the womb. Here is another photo of us when I was younger. And this is my mom, so I definitely took after, like, her skin tone, her hair. I'm looking like a weird-ass little baby in this pic, but this is my mom, again. Here is her when she was in her teenage years. So yeah, those are my parents. My dad actually had a paternity test after I was born. Not because he thought my mom was cheating, but just to make sure, because I did come out looking super fair, which is absolutely hilarious, honestly. One day somebody asked him, they were like, "How does your baby have blonde hair? That is not your kid." And my dad just made a joke. He was like, "Oh, yeah, I used to have blonde hair when I was a kid too." Like, serves you right for asking a dumb question.
Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kokodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who the house of David reborn again in this generation. And shalom to the 130 Al Sharalah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the speckled bird of Israel, right? Basically how the heritage of the Lord is onto him as a speckled bird, meaning that Israel is going to come in all colors. And to get started, let's read this. This is Revelations 7 and 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. See, this here is talking about the Israelites that are going to be saved, right? The 1/3 plus 144,000, right? And as it tells you that we're going to be, Lord willing, that's us, that we're going to be a speckled, a speckled people. We're going to be of all tones, from all nationalities, of all different languages. And why is that? Well, that's because the seed line of the 12 tribes of Israel have gone throughout the entire world. And what I just showed you with the two videos, the first, well, let's actually get the second one. You have this Israelite foreigner here, right? She looks like a straight up Edomite, okay? Colored eyes and blonde hair, white skin. But again, like you've seen from her photos, her dad's a Judite, okay? And this is what has happened to the seed line of Israel. Okay, our bloodline has been mixed throughout all the world. Okay, and this is why you're going to have Israelites, like it said in that scripture, right? Coming out of all nations, all tongues, and all kindred. Okay, and this is why nowadays we can't, base the Israelites or who is an Israelite off of skin color. And that's why at Great Millstone and the other Akim who teach the same doctrine, we're always, we never go off of skin color, right? This is what the naysayers like to go into and say that we're basing everything off of color. We're not, okay? Because we're basing everything off of, the spirit. If you come up in a respectful manner and you're truthfully want to learn, and you're being, you have a righteous spirit on you, then we'll deal with you. We'll answer your questions, And depending on what you say and how you answer, it's going to really reveal who you are. And why is that? Well, because let's read this. This is Romans 8:16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God, right? And that ultimately is what we're basing who is the Israelites are. Yes, we have the 12 tribes sign, and we know in general who the 12 tribes are today as far as nationalities, based off of the blessings and the prophecies. But again, out of every nation, there's going to be wheat and there's going to be tares. There's going to be people who are the seed line of Israel and people who are the seed line of these other heathen nations. And again, and it all goes by the Spirit and the way you conduct yourself, okay? And just like in the very beginning of the video, which goes into my second part of this lesson, is that this man here, right? What do you say? He's like, you're the first white black man I seen, right? And then he's all, what are you? He's all, are you a white black man or are you a black white man? And he's all, what? Because it's hilarious, right? Because this is literally Esau's, predicament here, right? Let's get that real quick. This is Genesis 25 and 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. You see, the first so-called white people upon the face of the earth after the flood was Esau, right? And that happened all the way back here in 1791 BC, right? You have a Kemet who says, that the white race was created by some mad scientist in a laboratory thousands of years ago. That's a bunch of BS. No, the first so-called white person didn't come onto the scene after the flood until circa 1791 BC, which is when they estimate Jacob and Esau were born. Okay, when Esau was born, he looked like this, right? He was a white black man, right, as this guy said, right? But see, the thing is that besides his skin color being afflicted by the Lord, because again, you got to remember the lack of melanin that Esau experienced was because he was Cain in the reincarnation. You see, when the Lord struck Cain with that mark to mark him, so that way everybody knew who he was, after Cain died, what happened is he came back in the reincarnation. And when he came back in the reincarnation, he still had that same spiritual mark upon him, which is why Esau came out just like what this guy looks like here, right? He came out with like reddish skin. That red is the blood that you see behind the skin, okay? And the thing is when these babies are first born, the Caucasian babies are, white babies, they come out really red looking, right? Because again, they've just gone through a traumatic event of being birthed, and again, the blood shows forth through their skin. Okay, this is why the Bible says the first came out red and hairy. Now, that being said, just as this man here, he was trying to plead his case that he was a black man, right? The thing is that the Judite didn't believe him, right? Until he basically showed his spirit, right? When he's like, come on, man, And the thing is like, see, you could tell your people by the way that they act, okay? And that's why it's hard for a lot of people to understand this, because there's certain things that just don't translate to words. You have to basically know them, right? It's the same thing with Latinos. We know somebody when they're being authentic. We know, when you deal with your same, raza, right? We deal with our same people, right? When you date within your people, there's certain things that go along with that, things that your people get, right? Versus if you date outside of your people, right? There's certain things that just don't translate, right? And that's the same effect, but on the spiritual level, right? When we deal with people who may not look like, like Apostle Gabar says, like Shaft, right? They're not as dark as Wesley Snipes, right? But they might look like this man here, or like that girl in the video, the second video was about. If their spirit is calmly and nice and righteous, and they're being genuine, right, and sincere, then that's the spirit of an Israelite. But again, they could be combative, they could be disingenuous, they could be sneaky and conniving. That's the spirit of these Edomites, right? Or if they're just lackadaisical, apathetic, right? Don't really have a care, and they can't really, freaking like the mark is always off the target. Those are probably just some of these other nations that are just, empty bodies and stuff like that. Don't really have a lively spirit inside of them, right? This is what it means to be, a fisher of men. When you come up in this truth, you start learning these traits, and you can start calling out certain things for what they are, right? If you see a so-called white person reveling and enjoying like a raw piece of meat, then you can tell that right there is an Edomite. If you see a so-called white person that they have good banter, they have style, they have they have a good spirit about them, they're genuinely a nice, righteous person, chances are their bloodline on their father's side goes back to the bloodline of Judite, right? Or an Israelite for the most part. Because again, that's the truth of what's going on here, right? This is Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field. Come to devour. You see, and our plight, the Israelite plight, going through the experiences that we've had to go through, right? So that way the Lord could cultivate us and bring us up with the experiences that we are going to need to rule the world. That entailed us being devoured by these other nations. And this is also another what it means when the Lord spoke to Abraham and told him that all the families of the earth shall be blessed in your seed, right? Because the thing is that with all the people who have been mixed into, or should I say all the Israelites who have been mixed into these other nations, that's a blessing for these other nations. Because now you have somebody to champion your nation. You have an Israelite to champion for your rights, right? You're going to have Israelites coming out of the Philippines. They're going to be sympathetic, and they're going to be apathetical to the Filipinos' way of life, right? You got the Israelites coming out of the so-called Mexicans nationality or people, and you're going to have the Israelites who are going to be, more apathetical and sensitive to the Mexican plight. And same thing, the Israelites coming out of the Chinese, the Israelites coming out of the Armenians, the Israelites coming out of the Caucasian race, and so on and so on. This is the blessing that the Lord has arranged, from the beginning, to mingle the seed of Israel amongst the other nations. Now, these seed lines are ultimately still the seed lines of Israel. We don't mix with these other nations. But again, we're going to rule over the nations, and in doing so, it's best that we have a good understanding of these nations. And what better way to be raised amongst them, to be raised as one of them, as Moses was raised in Egypt, as in the house of Pharaoh, as one of the Egyptians. That brought him closer to the Egyptians, and so on. So either way, hopefully this video was edifying. I wanted you to watch those two videos. Thought it was a good little topic to go into. So hopefully this video was edifying. Until next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Ruach. Double honors my teachers, the apostles, and the elders of the great millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.